Hey boys and girls, welcome to our math lesson 11.9, and we're going to be talking about capacity in customary units, which is the system that we in America use that has to do with inches and feet and yards. But in this case, capacity, we'll be talking about like liquid measurements. So today we're going to be talking about capacity. Capacity is the amount a container can hold when it is filled. So I thought this would be a fun lesson to do because I know that we do a lot of cooking in the kitchen, and this is something that's really important for us to do. So I thought I would start with some of the smallest measurements that we have. You might be familiar with our tablespoons and teaspoons. Now the tablespoon is the big one, and then we have our teaspoon here. And it's going to take 3 teaspoons to fill up this tablespoon. That's a very handy fact to have, especially when you're using recipes. So 3 teaspoons to fill in a tablespoon. See if you can remember these, because we're going to go to the board in a minute and fill that out. Then we have a cup. Okay, you might be familiar with this simple measuring cup. Now what's interesting is this is also a cup. Okay, so if I fill this liquid up here and put it in here, it would fill it to the top. And we have 1 cup here. All right, then we have a pint. Now, a pint is a little bit bigger than a cup. In fact, it's going to take 2 cups to fill up this pint. There's 1 pint, and if we look at the little symbols, it takes 1 cup and 2 cups to 2 of these to fill this up. Okay, and we might get a small pint of orange juice or a small pint of chocolate milk. Now the next thing that we have is a quart. Again, you might be familiar with this for milk, a smaller carton of milk, or again orange juice, or maybe they have special cream. And so we have 1 quart here. But it also says 1 quart is 2 pints, so it takes 2 of these to fill this up. But guess what else it takes? It also takes 4 cups to fill this up. And I love this little handy, these handy marks here. 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cups, 4 cups. So it helps us remember that 4 cups equals a quart, or 2 pints are going to equal a quart as well. And then you see what we're probably most familiar with is a gallon. Most of our milk comes in this. And a gallon is going to be 4 quarts, or 8 pints, or 16 cups. Okay, so I just wanted you to think about things that are in your refrigerator that you might use that represent these capacities. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move up to the board and see what you remember. Let's see if we can remember this. How many tablespoons fill up how many teaspoons? Or I should say, how many teaspoons fill up a tablespoon? Well, if you remember, we said 3. And then it says, how many cups does it take to make a pint? Well, if we look at our thing, it says 2 cups. And then how many cups does it take to fill up a quart? Well, that's kind of our medium-sized one. And it says 4 cups make up a quart. Then we have 1 gallon. How many cups is that? Well, that's that big one over here. And we said there were 16 cups. Then we have 1 quart to how many pints? Well, that's going to be 2 pints. 1 gallon, it's going to take 8 pints. And finally, 1 gallon is how many quarts? It's going to be 4 quarts. Now, all of you have this paper. It was in your packet this week. I went ahead and colored mine, different colors. So this is going to be super helpful with your lesson today. So I'm hoping you didn't lose it, but if you did, it is on Edmodo in our weekly work packet. You can print one out because it's going to be very helpful in today's lesson. So what we just did here and what we did on the table is representative of this. We have 16 cups. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints 4 quarts, and 1 gallon. So it takes 16 cups to fill up a gallon. It takes pints to fill up a gallon. It takes 4 quarts to fill up a gallon. And we can use these interchangeably as well. We could also say that there's 4 quarts in 8 pints, or 4 quarts in 16. So today's lesson is going to be kind of moving some of these things around and see how we can translate them into a different method here. Now there is a little trick to it. When you have a smaller unit of measurement and you're changing it to larger, you're always going to divide those numbers. Or the other option is if you start with a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit, you're going to multiply. And let me show you what I mean. So as we're doing some of these conversions, say we have 2 pints and we want to know how many cups. Well, this is when this comes in handy. You have 2 pints and you want to know how many cups. Well, if I can look at that, I know that it takes 2 cups to fill up 1 pint. So if I have 2 pints, then how much would that be? Well, in this case, we can just look and we can say 1, 2, 3, 4 cups is going to fill up 2 pints. So our answer is going to be 4. Now let's look at the difference. 2 quarts to how many pints? Well, let's start with 2 quarts, but we have to do first, how much is 1 quart? 2 pints equal 1 quart. So I can say 2 pints times 2 quarts is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 2 is going to be 4 as well. Now we have 3 gallons, but our paper doesn't have 3 strips. It only has 1. So we're going to have to do some multiplying here in a minute. But let's first see how many cups, which is way down here, equal a gallon. Well, we know there's 16 cups in 1 gallon, but we don't want just 1 gallon, we want 3 gallons. So we're going to take our 16 cups, which is the same as 1 gallon, and we're going to times it by 3. So 16 times 3 is going to be 48. So we actually need 48 cups. That means we need 16 of these again, and 16 of these again to get 1, 2, 3 whole gallons. Let's look at 4 gallons. Well, we already know 16 times 3 is 48. So we're doing, this case though, we're changing it to quarts. So I got ahead of myself. We're going to see how many quarts are in a gallon. Well, we know there's 4 quarts in a gallon. And that's 1 gallon, but we want 4 of them. So we got to count that 4 times. 4 gallons, so 4 times 4 is going to be 16. 16 quarts, 4, 8, 12, 16 is going to equal your 1, 2, 3, 4 gallons. And then we have 2 quarts. And how many cups? Well, here's our quarts, and here's our cups. So it takes 4 cups to make 1 quart. And we want to have 2 quarts, so we're going to do 4 times 2, which is going to be 8. And finally, we have 2 gallons to pints. 1 gallon, 2 gallons, and then we have to do pints. So let's do how many pints does it take to fill up 2 gallons? So let's see how many pints. It takes 8 pints to fill up 1 gallon, but we want 2. So it's going to be 8 times 2, which is going to be 16. Oops, my marker got all smeared there. So that's 16 pints, 8, 1 gallon, 16, 2 gallons. So this does kind of help you a little bit, but this is going to especially help you today. You can also look online. Sometimes they have this cute little, it's called Measure Man. And Measure Man starts in the center with gallons, and then he has 4 quarts, and then off the quarts is the 2 pints, and then off each pint is the 2 cups, and that's kind of a fun little thing that you could find online. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be working on your practice page 331, And you can review this video, but again, make sure you get one of these fraction strips to help you. And you're going to be working on the problems on that page. And you're going to do some conversions starting in number 9. So use your fraction strips. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to contact me on Zoom. All right, guys, see you later.